All right, ladies and gentlemen, General Greene, this is an imminent warning. January 25th, 2026. This changes everything. These are life-changing biblical events. The U.S. strike force is preparing now for what I believe is an imminent attack on Iran, an imminent strike force. We're going to go through all of the brutal details. Again, this is imminent, but first, I depend on you, and you can do this absolutely for free. Please like and share and get this out to the viewing public and stay prepped. Also, prayers to everybody in the affected zones right now, all the way to the Carolinas and on the East Coast, affected by the record snowfall and the millions now without power. God bless you. Stay vigilant. Be prepared. I hope you have backup generators, food, and water. Now, again, on the heels of what we predicted would be a decoy and a red herring over the weekend of massive protests where radical leftists are biting quite literally the fingers off ICE agents and absolute just brutality moves like Mortal Kombat. We now sit on the edge of a major cliff. Regime change in Iran. It has been reported to me that the Ayatollah is now underground in a nuclear fallout shelter in case Trump and or Israel decides to use a tactical with this brute force move. We're going to go over all of the assets, this giant armada in the Middle East. Again, please like and share. I'm going to give you the exact bullet points. Currently, the USS Abraham Lincoln is poised to strike. It has arrived. It'll be preparing and allowing CENTCOM and major air power plus strikes to occur from the sea. This will include multiple guided includes multiple guided missile destroyers accompanying the giant armada. Folks, this is everything that the United States is not only capable of, but is built with the might of the strongest naval capacity and Air Force capacity in the world. I first would like to just bless all of our troops, our military and Navy preparing for this imminent attack. Additional U.S. Air Force fighter jets are presently being reported, including F-15E Strike Eagles in the CENTCOM area of responsibility. Analysts have currently observed dozens of U.S. military cargo aircraft moving toward the region. This, of course, is a classic indicator of reinforcement stocking, munitions support personnel. Tankers and refueling capacity is also on the heels of all of this. So this is an air and missile defense capability. U.S. officials have explicitly pointed to bolstering regional defense against retaliation. There has been multiple reports that Israeli airspace has been cleared, and CENTCOM publicly announcing a new integrated air defense coordination cell with ally Qatar. Okay, senior Iranian officials have also warned of all-out war against the United States as a result of any attack, any strike, a discombobulation move by Donald Trump, like what we just saw, using weapons of war that have just recently been revealed and declassified to the American public that, again, operate on the EMF electromagnetic spectrum. What Donald Trump calls a discombobulation deterrence. So again, we are on the heels of a major attack. Things are hot, and pray for our troops. Most importantly, be vigilant here on the ground for any asymmetric events in the United States. Again, isn't it curious the power's out with 1 million people? Isn't it curious that these weather events that they told us was a conspiracy all these years, spraying the skies somehow is now admitted. It's all admitted that there's weather geoengineering. This is absolutely insane. I want you all prepared for this. Is again, I believe the country has been put in a natural emergency disaster for a reason. Now, Minneapolis is now a hotbed of what many people are calling what could be a pre-Civil War event in the streets. Tragically, there was another civilian casualty yesterday as ICE disarmed a man, and then in a very controversial response. We all know what happened. I got to keep it PC. The footage is very graphic. I'm not going to show it to you. Other groups like Antifa are calling for war against ordinary Americans, but more importantly, ICE and also our men in blue and our police forces. God bless all of you that serve us and protect this great nation. Again, the radical left's playbook is to diminish our police officers, to diminish ICE officers, to piss on this country, to burn the American flag, all funded by George Soros and his hideous-looking son. Also, keep your eye on a massive government shutdown with a 75% chance now, based on Polymarket polling, happening on the 31st. This means the entire U.S. government will also shut down again by the end of this week unless Donald Trump can somehow stall this. Now, keep in mind, trillions of dollars have been spent with the big, beautiful bill. We are in a hyperinflationary U.S. dollar collapse. And as I have stated, gold and silver prices primarily are signaling not just war, but are surging on what it already knows as a forward-looking indicator. What is that forward-looking indicator? What is gold and stratospheric silver prices telling us, folks? It's telling us war is on the horizon with Iran. So this has been, the last few weeks have been incredible. This has essentially been a blitzkrieg by Donald Trump, not just in Venezuela, but plans for military installations and bases, of course, and Greenland, and just a whole host of other events. Again, the strategy has been the same strategy I've preached on this channel for nearly 2 decades. It's to exit the banks. You want to own physical assets. You want monetary sovereignty, gold, silver, real estate with no bank debt, also Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Now, what I see in the cryptocurrency market is truly the opportunity of a lifetime. I've gone all in. I've been rotating and reallocating my own personal portfolio, buying more Bitcoin. I've been buying more Bitcoin for my children, as I explained to you in last couple days ago's video. Also, I've been buying Bitcoin for myself. Keep in mind, too, I maintain a strict asset allocation. I still own all the other assets. I'm a major player, investor in Litecoin, RSR, Trump coin, et cetera. Again, just because I say I bought more Bitcoin doesn't mean I don't have a strict asset allocation. I'm expecting all of these assets to skyrocket on de-dollarization. De-dollarization. And also the continued debt, which is only exploding higher. So we're going to get some record moves. This is going to play out in the next few weeks. These are truly buying opportunities of a lifetime. And it's just really curious. We have this huge Arctic blast right at the convenient timing. Isn't that convenient? The grid is stressed. Now, I want to bring up some cynicism too. By the way, I noticed Alex Honnold, amazing athlete, really cool. I saw the tail end of him scaling the giant tower in Taipei. What an incredible feat, proving the impossible, proving what man is capable of. It's incredible. So not taking anything away from that giant feat, that massive athletic ability. Very cool to see. But I did notice something curious. He lost communication with the ground at the top of the tower. So I have to explain this to you guys. I noticed he lost comms. When he was at the top of the tower, he said, "Hey, I can no longer hear you. I've lost communication. Is it safe to rappel down now after scaling the tower?" I think he did it like in an hour and 30. The reason I bring that point to your attention is, remember, supposedly Neil Armstrong bounced around on the Swiss cheese over 250 miles away past the Van Allen belt in 1969. Want this to sink in. No problem with comms. This was like almost pre-computers and pre-internet. Perfect communication, perfect alleged live stream, perfect comms with the ground. Light years away, 250 million miles away. And yet at like 7,000 feet, Alex Honnold loses communication. I also want to make another explicit point. But before I forget, I also want to mention Congress just passed with bipartisan support a KIL switch of every single United States American's vehicles, which means the deep state or radical left can turn your car off now. Now, of course, they can take control of it, drive you into a cliff. Your self-driving car can restrict what zones or prohibit where you're allowed to travel. They can do all this right now through OnStar, all this other tech. But now they've introduced, and it's moving forward, with bipartisan support, a KILL switch, of which not only destroys your freedom, but is another example of the tyranny that we might be facing in the very near future. Again, prepare for this. People thought I was nuts. I bought a dozen Jeeps a couple years ago, and I always joked I did that so I never have to buy a car again. I bought it for Island Project, of course, my businesses, etc. But one of the reasons why I bought these 4x4 manually controlled Jeeps is I knew that they were going to do this. Again, the goal of the dirty cabal, George Soros satanic elites, is to remove every semblance of freedom and liberty from the American people and build an AI surveillance police state of which you no longer have freedom, prosperity, or self-sovereignty, most importantly, self-agency over your own life. So back to Alex Honnold, who lost comms. I have another question for Elon Musk and others. How is it we're going to colonize Mars when you can't even keep the power on here on planet Earth for 1 million Americans because it snows outside? Oh, there's a little sprinkle of snow coming down. Oh my gosh, lion, tigers, and bears. Grid goes down. Grid down. Grid down. Wait a minute, I thought we had all this amazing technology. We're supposedly going to change the atmosphere on Mars. You're going to colonize light years away, supposedly, Elon. But you can't keep the lights on. In 2026 in the United States, proving my point, most of what you're hearing from these oligarchs is bold-faced lies. Just like the AI isn't as good as they're telling us. It is a control weapon to integrate the American people into a hive mind system. Now, I'll give you my take on this. I'll state my opinion. We're in an ideological civil war now, but a lot of Americans want to know, are we going to get kinetic civil war in the United States? My take is no. I've said this for some time. Again, if we were going to have a civil war, we would have already had one. Most Americans showed their cards and their hand that they were playing in 2020. There was very little resistance, very little, proving my point. So again, I believe the elites are creating a petri dish of control, focusing the masses on distortions and distractions and fake politics, what many people call a uniparty, so they can get away with the heist. Right? They're getting away with the heist. This is something Donald Trump has been combating. So, no, I do not believe we're going to have a kinetic civil war on the ground. It's far more likely we have a systematic, asymmetric, God forbid, pray against it attack here in the United States that Iran or other countries like it, America's enemies, may deploy soon. So be prepared for that. Understand self-sufficiency is extremely important. Monetary sovereignty is key. More importantly, solutions. Let me give you an example. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's done a lot of wonderful things for this country. Others I've kind of disagreed with. But notice that even the people allegedly fighting for our freedom quit. They quit. They're quitters. They retire. They sink into the oblivion, no longer to be seen. Well, that's not a solution. You know, so what if everyone knows that the country is a uniparty and we're being destroyed with bipartisan support? Your complaints mean nothing. Only your solutions do. And I want that to sink in because it's very important. Again, we don't need to use the old tactics of the American Revolution when we can use new technologies like blockchain to establish our freedom and liberty and sovereignty and build our own nation states decentralized out of the system with no bank debt by and for the people and Christians and God-fearing, faith-first individuals worldwide. That's where the real war is being fought. Not by quitters, not by fake politics, but real men and women like my members and you tuning in. And my father, Papa John, 1776 and 2026. That is the real war. That is the tip of the spear. That is the solution. Also, just kind of in some fun news, let's lighten the mood up because I know the attack on Iran, which is imminent, is pretty hard hitting and in all of our faces. But I did watch that UFC fight last night with Patty and Gaethje, I think is how we pronounce his name. Man, that was impressive. In fact, I was more impressed by Patty, honestly. Even though he lost the fight, that guy would not sit down. He took a beating. He got knocked down repeatedly. Who knows, maybe even has brain damage. But he kept getting his butt back up and swinging like hell. That stood out more to me than Gaethje's win, honestly. And it's a type of mindset we need here in the United States of America, and all of you tuning in. Again, your greatest weapon comes through God. It comes through faith. It comes through solutions and persistence. I spent the morning super blessed, massive freaking workout, getting freaking jacked. Put in some push-ups. I did some bicep curls. I went for a light jog. You know, you got to be in shape for this too. Men out there, especially you men, you're in charge of protecting you and your families and your churches and your children and your grandchildren and the elderly. I need you fit as a freaking rock for what's ahead. I need you prepared. I need you building on stone here at theislandproject.com. So I salute all of you. You are amazing men and women. This goes for you women out there as well. We are America. We are the United States spirit. We, and you tuning in, are 1776. And this is where we sit today, on the edge of a catastrophic cliff. As many people say, America is dying. We see the weak whimper. We see the weak complain. We see the weak retire and quit. We see them give up, right? Sideline critics, but offering no solutions and no real world tangible advice. This is a clear distinction and is the bedrock of the digital Noah's Ark and what makes us the best in the world. By the way, Deck 2 will be launched this week. I've been on the phones countless hours. Our amazing team has finalized our operating agreement, our $50 million flagship to launch Deck 2 of the Ark. Folks, Noah built before the rain, and so do we, and you tuning in. Noah built when he was mocked long before the storm hit, and his boat took sail. Come with the same attitude. Come with the same inspiring faith. This morning, my children were doing their chores. They do chores every single morning. My youngest son's a great cook. He made us pancakes and eggs, which I was so grateful to eat and consume. And during it, I read the book of Matthew to them. I read them about the baptism of Jesus Christ, our Lord. I read to them about his power. I read to him when he was baptized in the blood by John the Baptist, how a dove came down from the sky and lifted him up. And the glory of our King was ever present. History to be changed forever. And then I taught them explicitly about the tests of the devil, testing Jesus to turn stone into bread because he was hungry. 40 days and 40 nights. He was taken to a tall mountain. Satan said, throw yourself off and let the angels catch you if you are the Son of God. And in another test, he said, I will give you all the kingdoms and glory of this world. But Jesus Christ denied him and said, you shall worship God alone. And I remind you today that your prosperity and your future will come from your mindset and your building, what you do today. All of you have been presented the tools you need for your success. They are all in front of you. Your 1000X mindset is key. You must think rich before you become rich. You are what you think about. So what are you thinking about? That's my question for you today. What are you thinking about? I'm thinking of winning. I'm thinking of victory. I'm thinking 1776. I'm thinking of God's glory that comes through him. I am thinking and knowing of the eternality of our kingdom. I am thinking up only, the rapture. I am thinking of the second coming and riding in the storm with our King, Jesus Christ. Do not let this world steal your joy. Do not let the world steal your hope. Do not let them send you into a frenzy or a panic. Something I would also like you to diligently keep your eye on. There's another bat post spreading all over India right now. They say they can't contain. More poopy butt is flying around like diarrhea, supposedly, in India. It's an outbreak. Keep your eye on that. The elites will use every weapon, including what they're doing with our skies, including psychological programming, including lockdowns, including the pre-planned inside JOB demolition of the US dollar. People told me it would never happen. But now we live through. I mean, these are amazing events, guys. Our lives will never be the same again. What we do now, uniting as one beautiful people, as one amazing group, as disciples of our Lord matters. Again, when the disciples went out and they preached the gospel, they had to dust their feet at many houses and move on and share the gospel and the truth with as many people that they could. They had to face adversity. All they needed was their cloaks and their sandals and nothing else. As God sent them on their journey, and you today are on your journey with the spirit of Noah, with the staff of Moses, with the wisdom of King Solomon in the book of Ecclesiastes, and with your freaking general here at the digital Noah's Ark. 1000X and up only. We are God's disciples. You are the victory. And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. something no one else can see. So many playing for the downside. So many people living in fear. But they don't see the enormous possibilities and the opportunities that are ahead. And many people, for example, are completely betting against the United States now in America. And they're betting and even turning on Trump. And people are complaining. And they're quitting. And they're retiring. And I pray that those people don't quit. I pray those people stand up again, like Patty. I pray that even if they've taken a beating, they get up and swing like hell, like we are here at the Digital Noah's Ark. Bloodied, bruised, but you keep swinging like hell. We're bringing hellfire to these demons. We're bringing truth and light and victory that comes straight from God. And that is a life force and passion that you cannot stop. The victory is yours, ladies and gentlemen. What an honor to serve all of you tuning in. What an honor to work hand in hand with my father, our amazing members from around the world, our imminent launch of Deck 2. Amazing time to be alive. An amazing time to declare our independence in 1776 and our unending, eternal victory, building kingdom wealth. That's the difference here at the Ark. It's the difference with what we do and others fail to do. It's key. Again, it's those rocky moments. It's the challenges and obstacles that shape a man. Do not judge a man when times are good. Judge a man when he's in the storm. That's when he's tested. That's when you're tested. When you're tested by Satan, that's the time to rise and declare victory and say, I rebuke you, Satan, just as Jesus did. That's how you measure a man. That's how you measure your will and ultimately your faith. It's how you react. Rise to the occasion with a steady, steadfast hand in the storm that matters. Again, I give you the example of Patty. Last night, getting knocked down, bloodied, beat, bashed. But that man would not sit. And that is the spirit of America. And it is the spirit of the man sitting here in front of you today. And it's your spirit. And it's God's spirit. I love you guys. This is absolutely incredible. I will keep you updated on the strikes. I believe we will be at DEFCON 1 imminently. Again, the Ayatollah would not be in a bunker unless the strikes were imminent. Let me go to the Jerusalem Post here for a minute just to see if there's any breaking news. And also I'll check another international source to give us a balanced report here at RT. And again, please confirm this, but it appears Israel is already in process of strikes on Lebanon. Please confirm that for me. I do see a report. This is something I'm just seeing now. So again, what is it that you might not see right now? I want you to imagine a world where Donald Trump pulls it off. I want you to imagine a world that's actually peaceful and prosperous. I want you to imagine the greatest country rising from the ashes. I want you to imagine technology being utilized for God's glory and not evil. I want you to imagine the best case scenario, because a lot of people are betting on the opposite, and they are typically wrong. And I'll bet against that any day of the week. So, again, folks, where our strength comes from is unity, which is why the radical left is destroying that. And that is why our cities, which Trump must do something, in my opinion, soon to bring back order. But what we're seeing in our cities is meant to destroy. What's in your news is meant to confuse. It is meant to distract. It is meant to tear down and not lift up. And I'm just going through my feed critically here for a minute just to see if there's anything else I missed. You know what to do, folks. You know what to do. I preach it every single day. Bet on God. Have faith. Bet on yourself. And most importantly, take action. I love you all. Please like and share. Leave a comment. Get this out. I want to thank you. We just broke 410,000 new followers on Facebook. We are about to crush through 150,000 on X. I salute you. Have a wonderful day. I will keep you posted. Very exciting times. But we, and more importantly, you, are on the brink. The storm is coming. The storm is coming. Are you prepared? Get prepared. God bless. Jesus Christ is King. Links up here and down here.